It was announced last week that Sadie Sink, fame from Stranger Things, is coming into Spider-Man 4 as a mystery character. Now, I wanted to touch briefly on who I think that could be. A lot of people are speculating, including Jeff Schneider, who is one of the biggest scoopers on the planet in terms of Hollywood. He breaks a lot of stories before studios want him to. He is the biggest thorn in their side. They do not like him because he is as good as he is at his job. He seems to think that she is going to be playing a different version of Mary Jane, which, for a lot of people wondering, are like, wait, what? Because Zendaya plays Mary Jane, but haha, she does not play Mary Jane. She plays MJ, but it is not, in fact, Mary Jane, just another girl that has a similar M and J first and last letters in her name. And Jeff Schneider is saying that Sadie Sink is actually going to be the Mary Jane that we know and love from the comics. Now, would I absolutely fucking hate that? Yeah, I would. Because at the end of the day, yes, this is Spider-Man. Yes, it's Peter Parker. Yes, he's a kid that leaves high school, and you know, it's the story of him coming of age and becoming his own as Spider-Man and getting out of the shadow of Robert Downey Jr. It's very similar to the comics, but it's very much so its own incarnation of Spider-Man. It doesn't follow the same formula that Tobey Maguire's did or Andrew Garfield's did or even a lot of the comics did. It kind of forged its own path. But I think that Zendaya playing a different version of Mary Jane, not called Mary Jane, but sharing the same MJ acronym for like a nickname, was one of the really special things that they did, and they made this new version of her that's really amazing and wonderful as a character in these films. And I think that in making another Mary Jane, you're not only slapping the fans of Zendaya in the face that love her as MJ, but you're also doing a disservice to Zendaya herself, who has done a wonderful job at creating this dynamic and this chemistry with Tom Holland that we love. It's really the heart of all these Spider-Man films, is his love for her. And you set up this super emotionally moving, depressing ending in Spider-Man 3 where she forgets who he is. And one of the things I wanted to see them tackle over this new trilogy is how he figures out how to get her to remember. It's kind of like in the beginning of the show Once Upon a Time, where Prince Charming and Snow White forget who they are, and over the course of the first season, they're slowly getting closer and closer and closer to remembering that they love each other, so that when it finally happens, that payoff is so emotionally moving it can't help but move you to tears. That's kind of what I'm expecting from this. I want to see them teeter back and forth in falling back in love again and her remembering who he is, and I think that that would be such a beautiful arc for Peter Parker to have before they send him on his way and retire him and let Miles Morales take the lead here, because I think that's what they are doing. I think they're doing another 3 Spider-Man films, and they're going to slowly introduce Miles, and then Tom Holland's going to go off and retire and do his thing with Zendaya where they can have a family and stop acting, and now we're going to at least have a Spider-Man there in Miles Morales. But over the course of that 3-movie arc where they're transitioning to Miles, I think you need to give Peter his happy ending and get him back with MJ, which is Zendaya. I don't care to see a Sadie Sink take over the love interest of Peter Parker. I just personally don't want that. Maybe everybody else does. Maybe a lot of people don't like Zendaya, but for me personally, I really want them to stick with Zendaya's MJ and stick to that love story. And look, you can introduce Black Cat as like a temporary romance that Peter has until he wins the heart back of Zendaya, but I do not want a replacement for MJ. So at the end of the day, I don't think that's what they're gonna do, because so far Kevin Feige's got Spider-Man right. He understands what the people want, he understands what makes the character work, and he understands that everyone loves Zendaya. I think that Jeff Schneider isn't necessarily lying. I think that that's definitely what somebody told him, but just like a lot of the trailers that we get out of Marvel where they show us things that are in the movie that aren't actually there, Marvel misdirects. They lead us in the wrong way, and if they know that scoopers are digging at any piece of information they could find to release online to build up their websites, maybe they're just releasing a bunch of fake names for Jeff Schneider to theorize that it could be, and not actually saying the same thing. Where I think that the original rumor that came out before everything broke about her playing Jean Grey is a lot more believable, because Kevin Feige said that we're going to get a lot of the X-Men characters introduced long before we ever get an actual X-Men film. And what better of a platform than your most popular superhero on the planet right now in Marvel, Spider-Man, to introduce one of the most important X-Men characters. It also matches the rumors that these X-Men characters are going to be played by younger actors because they want them to grow in the roles and be around for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm not saying make this a Spider-Man and Jean Grey team-up movie. You could have her in it for a small amount just to introduce her, have her present something for Spider-Man to figure out and like help her fix, but it's still predominantly a Spider-Man character. I think that that would be an amazing way to set up the X-Men, to show that they are here in this world now, and we're getting it first with Jean Grey and Spider-Man introducing the very first X-Men character. I think you'll get the pop from the audience that's looking for that X-Men content, that so desperately wants to see it come to fruition already after the Fox acquisition from Disney. And I think that Sadie Sink definitely deserves more than a just hand-me-down role of an MJ. She deserves her own character that hasn't been in the MCU already, and she deserves a role that's going to be a lot more badass. And look, I love Zendaya, don't get me wrong, and she does have that badass moment in Spider-Man Far From Home with the axe and the robot, but like, I want Sadie Sink to be more than just a damsel in distress. I want her to be someone really awesome, and Jean Grey is one of the most pivotal characters. She's like the heart and soul of it a lot of the time. So I hope I get my way. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, maybe she is just going to play another MJ, which I'll be disappointed by, but at the end of the day, it's Spider-Man, so I'm going to show up to watch it anyway. I just really hope she does in fact play Jean Grey. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you want her to be MJ? Maybe you were desperately wanting a more comic accurate red-haired Mary Jane Watson in it, and you're excited about this. Or maybe you're like me and you love Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship across those movies and you want to see more of that. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. I'd love to have a conversation about it. And if you like this stuff, guys, please give me a like and a subscribe. I can't wait to keep bringing you more content like this and having more conversations about it in an optimistic way. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.